Welcome. It is Monday morning early. The sun's just peeping over the horizon as I'm recording this. We are moving into Module 4. And so I'm excited about that. It just came from a WordPress camp this weekend. Hopefully by now you've had a chance to see Black Panther if you're going to see it. Spoiler alert. No, I'm not going to give you any spoilers about it. But I do want to talk about where we're at in the course. Now, some of you will notice that if you are behind a module or more, that I put zeros in for the grades. These are not permanent zeros, but are meant to kind of capture your attention and say, look, if you don't do this, you're getting behind in the course. And I've tried to message you and send reminders, and some of you are still a bit behind. I just want you to be aware that even though it's asynchronous, I can't wait till the very last week to begin putting in grades. I got to know where you're at in the course. And so these zeros that I've placed in will be replaced. I will put in the actual grade once you do the assignment. So just an FYI on that. Let's bump in and take a look at modules 4 and to see where we're headed. So here we're at in the course. Let me jump down to module 4. So we finished module 3. We are now in week 8. We are just moving right along for the course. And we are into biological science fiction. I love this era, part of the genre, maybe is a better way of saying it. And we are talking about zombies and genetics. These two things that play into science fiction. And, where do zombies come from a historical perspective? How have zombies influenced us as a culture? We're just going to talk a little bit about that. So here's a real quick overview of the course, and then I'll hop into the individual lessons and some things to note. This module, we're really looking by day 5, by Friday of this week, that you should have the first lesson done, and by Friday of the following week you should have the next lesson done. That's genetics in the loose. And again, we're doing a touch base where I really should be saying, here's where you're at in the novel. See, now this is part of the issue with this being an asynchronous course, is I'm checking to see where you're at in the novel, and if you aren't at certain spots in the novel, I put in zeros because you can't read a novel and do it justice and do research on it 3 days before the course ends. And so it's important for you to stay on top of it, and I think there's a touchstone, a checkpoint in this module as well. So hopping back out, the first lesson that we're looking at deals with zombies, and we're going to be looking at a bunch of different things in this zombie project. I'm moving slow here this morning, but as I look at the overview, we're dealing with the history of zombies. And I believe there's an article on that you just click to read a brief history of zombies. There's a small quiz that goes with that. And then there are some articles as to why we are fascinated with zombies today. And these articles should all work. And I want you to read these 4 articles and then respond. Then there is a voice thread. And the way you handle voice thread, someone had problems with this. There's this little comment. You just put a comment here, and that's the way you respond to the voice thread. But there's a home delivery, and you respond to it by doing that right there. And then you finish up the lesson. So that's the lesson on zombies. Should take you about 2 hours to do if you do everything and do all the reading and so forth. And you might be able to do it shorter. It depends a little bit on how fast you read. And then the second part really deals with the more biological part of science fiction. And we begin to look at genetics themselves. And this is stuff like contagion, pandemic, these types of things play into it. And let me see where we're at in the course here. And we talk about the future of genetics, genetic manipulation. There's a short story that I'm having you read. And how our genes work, and some other stuff, and you can read. I'm not going to read it for you, but there's some quizzes. But it's a pretty straightforward unit, and it's a 2-week unit. Shouldn't take you that long to do. 2 short essays in it, a quiz and a video in this module 4 lesson 2. And then, as I did mention before, we are asking you to do an update, a checkpoint 3 on where are you at with your science fiction novel, this independent reading novel project you're supposed to be doing. So that's it. If you have any questions at all, please message me through Remind if you're signed up with that, or message me through this system up here. And some of you have been very good with that. Ian, you know who you are. Just hit the mic. But that's it. All right, take care. I'll see you next week.